I believe many players must not have heard of this blade. Actually, I tried this blade 3 years ago, and I used it as my main blade for almost half a year. Now, using that blade again brings back memories, so I decided to buy a new one to review for everyone. Butterfly Special. Let's give it a try. The full name of this blade is Yinhe Korea Team Butterfly Special. In the same series, there are also Yinhe's North Korean team Choe Hyon Ha and Choe Hyon Ha Special. I've tried both Choe Hyon Ha and this Butterfly back in the day, but at that time, I wasn't a content creator yet, so I didn't review them. No worries, now I can still share my thoughts with you. If I remember correctly, the official price for these 3 blades was 1,180 yuan at the time. Now, they're gradually being discontinued, and with limited stock. Later, more new North Korean team special blades were released. Now, let's talk about how this blade feels to play with. My initial impression of the Butterfly is that it feels relatively soft with light strokes. It's not the kind of very stiff and direct style. When you're looping or hitting with light power, you can clearly feel that the top layer of this blade is relatively soft, offering very good ball grip. When you exert more power and penetrate the blade, the power transfer is quite linear. It doesn't have the strong catapult effect of the 968. The feedback feels relatively solid. Basically, the power you put in is the power you get out. As for the second bounce after landing, it tends to be closer to the baseline, and the spin after landing is relatively strong. On the backhand, with light strokes near the table, you might feel the blade is slightly hollow, but this hollowness isn't very obvious. Once you add more power and hit solidly, the feel comes through. It's mainly stability-oriented. When you penetrate the blade with forehand at mid-distance or near mid-distance, the trajectory after landing still pushes forward aggressively. Same for the backhand. When you step back and add some power to loop through it, the quality and speed improve significantly. Choe Hyon Ha and Choe Hyon Ha, these 3 blades, are actually ranked by their level of aggressiveness. Choe Hyon Ha is completely stability-oriented, and it feels very lightweight. So Choe Hyon Ha doesn't have very high power. Butterfly sits in the middle of these 3 blades. Choe Hyon Ha is the most similar to the 968 among them and is the most explosive. However, the Choe Hyon Ha blade lacks quite a bit in terms of passive play. As for the Butterfly, whether in terms of stability or power, I think it's a relatively well-balanced blade. This actually reminds me of the Asaka Jokai Special I've been using lately. They share some similarities. At least their overall performance direction is somewhat alike, but in terms of feel, the Butterfly is relatively softer, while the Asaka Jokai feels more direct and crisp. In terms of mid-distance defensive absorbing power, this inner carbon blade performs exceptionally well. Later, I'll let my training partner, Brother Bo, try the Butterfly blade to see how it feels for him. As soon as he picked up this blade and started hitting, I could feel the ball speed increased significantly. But the heaviness upon landing isn't as pronounced as with his original 968, but the ball quality is still good. Next, everyone can listen to my verbal summary and thoughts on this blade. First, let's look at its craftsmanship. I think the craftsmanship is quite good. Yinhe's craftsmanship is very impressive. As for the blade's appearance, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Many people think it's not good looking, but I actually think it looks quite nice. It has a red logo, and the handle design features the North Korean flag. I bought this blade brand new. Let's see the quality of its fiber layers. Let's focus. Take a look. Couldn't focus properly, unfortunately. Okay, let's try focusing again. Let's see. The fiber layers are actually quite beautiful. Almost no imperfections. It also has a limba top layer, making it the same structure as the 968. The blade edge is printed with Butterfly and North Korean Team Special. So why did I start using this blade back then? Because in 2011, I don't know if you remember, Soo Hyunbin from the national team used this blade as his main racket, and even defeated Roo Seung-min with it. So I became very interested in this blade at the time, and went ahead to purchase it. After buying it, I used it for quite a long time. Now, thinking back to this blade, I feel very nostalgic. So I bought another one to review for everyone. Let me describe the feel of this blade through a few points. First, the feel. This blade's feel is different from other inner carbon blades that are stiff and direct. It has a relatively soft and springy feel with a slight hint of hollowness. I think sometimes, if you pair it with too soft a rubber, it might feel disconnected, but with a slightly harder rubber, this disconnected feeling disappears, so it can be somewhat compensated. When you exert some power and penetrate the blade, the carbon layers kick in, and the blade accelerates quickly, so I think the feel is quite linear. In terms of power feedback, at least when you exert power, it responds well. It's relatively clear. In terms of performance spin, low trajectory speed, and power, I think it's relatively balanced. The only thing I might not be satisfied is the slight hollowness with light strokes, but this isn't really a flaw. Some people might even like this feel, right? It can also be compensated with rubber selection. That's my overall review of this blade. That's all. So who is this blade recommended for? It's for those who prefer an inner carbon blade that doesn't require too much power, isn't too aggressive, offers stability, but still has decent speed and power. That's who we'd recommend this inner carbon blade to. And now, the price isn't too high either. I think it offers good value for money. That's all for this video.